What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. How you like them apples? Yeah, we had ourselves a little bit of a day here on Tuesday. It was nice stuff. Got a couple of plays in the evening window, but overall, getting your lock across, the Miami -1.5, pretty much everything across the board. Over 8.5 as long as you got to that number. It didn't move to 9 on Baltimore, New York. Lots of parlays getting smashed in the Odd Shopper Discord access because, again, if all your plays hit and everybody jumbles them together, good things are generally going to happen. So absolutely love today. Good stuff. Hopefully I can get a home run play across the board here at some point tonight. That would be awesome. It feels a little quiet there the last 2-3 days. But either way, it's been awesome. And hey, coming off of Monday, I know it was a disappointing day for a lot of you. Hopefully you really enjoyed this Tuesday, this 4th of July edition. But we're moving ourselves along to July 5th. No more USA shirt that I am wearing, but I still like it. BetMGM friends, you can check them out. Good stuff. I'll talk about them a little bit later. If you want to get a head start, head to that comment section below. Get yourself 2 months of free access to that insider Discord access. Myself, Eitan Shander, Ben Raza, all of our betting cards for me every single Sunday through Friday. Yes, Saturday, I sleepy. That's good stuff. But otherwise, we're ready to rock. 15 games, lots to get to on this slate. A lot of weird pitching, really weird pitching. We had Max Scherzer pitching today. They moved Senga back to Wednesday, but you know where we're going to go with that one. But producer Jacob, he's spinning the beats. Let's get to the picks. We begin in a Houston and kind of an island game, standalone game. Thought I might have a play from it, but my God, this pitching is just really, really hard to trust. That's because it's JP France on the mound for Houston going up against Chase Anderson and Mr. Anderson. Yeah, this is more of what we were expecting. 7, 9, and 6 earned runs his last 3. He did get thrown through the gauntlet at Atlanta, then in Coors Field against the Angels, then Coors Field against the Dodgers. That is not a fun 3 games to be playing in a row, but throw me a bone here. No, I won't. 7 earned, 9 earned, 6 earned. Bad stuff across the board those last 3, and he was out of the league like 2 years ago. Revamped himself a little bit, but I still don't believe that any of these changes are all that prominent. And that's showing out because every time he plays a semi-decent baseball team, nothing good happens. 16.7% K rate, 362 xWOBA. Nothing's great. Nothing's awesome. JP France on the other side, kind of feel the same way about him. 17.7% K rate, 320 xWOBA. He gets the way better matchup. Colorado, worst in baseball in terms of WRC plus, and now you're outside of Coors. Oh yeah, it's going to be tough to have run creation out there. That's for darn tootin'. Even though Chris Bryant did go yard, almost like I spoke that one to existence yesterday, called him out. Welcome back. I just said they need to trade him and just start over. It still applies. But it's just one of those like push-pull situations. I don't like JP France. I don't like his stuff. 4.22 expected ERA, a lot worse than his 3.13 ERA. I expect negative regression. But does that happen in this spot as I plugged it into the model? You know what this spit out? 8.9 runs. That is not worth it in terms of the over. I have this being about 225, 220 in terms of the money line because that's how bad Colorado is. I don't really want to be going to this run line either. You do have 120 kind of in between it. We've talked a lot about run lines on Lindy's Locks Insider. Lindy, that's not a thing. Lindy's Locks Update over on the Twitters. Go check that out. Follow me at Eric Lindquist. They're on that every single Monday through Friday for the people putting a video out for you. But yeah, 120, it's about appropriate. I really don't want to be firing that one up. If I did anything, it'd be the over of 9 that's sitting here. 9.5 we have in a lot of spots. Again, it's just such a tough spot for me to run into anything here. Yeah. It's a really, really disgusting spot overall. So, again, I think that would be the lean just because of a median outcome. Again, averages don't always matter in terms of like what we're looking at here specifically. Averages definitely matter, but that's a conversation for a different day. Just trust me when I say I don't like this game. Over 9, whatever, don't bet it. Kind of another disgusting spot here that we've got with Detroit, and we did end up firing up actually on the run line. Ended up with a small half unit play there. Ended up beyond just that money line. I knew a lot of people wanted to parlay with some things and thought it made sense to have some batter props out there, even if I don't like Detroit's lineup, because who does? Either way, I don't like these pitchers. Ken Waldichuk, Eduardo Rodriguez, and it's not that I don't like Eduardo Rodriguez. I love Eduardo Rodriguez. In fact, I would say he would have been like a contender for a Cy Young if he had the form he had at the beginning of this season. But what I don't like is he has not pitched since May 28th, and I have no idea what version of him shows up here in this spot. Let me give you some numbers beforehand. Before he got hurt, 31.7% hard hit percentage, 277 xWOBA, 356 expected slugging, and a 25.5% K rate. Back with Boston, he got BABIP'd, that is batting average on balls in play. You got BABIP to death, 300 being your league average, was north of that pretty much every season with Boston. You're like, hey, eventually he's going to run good. Well, then what happened was he kind of disintegrated last year to a 4.20 expected ERA after being south of 3.75 for 3 consecutive seasons. But this year, everything looked retooled. 249 WOBA, 3.10 expected ERA, 2.13 actual ERA, which I already cited. But either way, this four-seamer cutter combination is just good. But is it good this time out? He did look sharp in his last AAA outing. I just don't know what to believe with this spot, and it makes it hard to trust. In fact, with Ken Waldichuk on the other side, of course I would be taking Detroit, but I can't bet them at this kind of a number, minus 195, with Eduardo Rodriguez, some of the unknowns that circle around him. If I knew we were getting the same version, I sure would, because how much wood can a Waldichuk chuck if a Waldichuk could chuck wood? A lot, because it would run into every baseball bat. A 359 xWOBA, 456 expected slugging, sub 20% K rate, and a 12.7% walk rate. One of the worst starting pitchers in baseball. Then one of the worst bullpens behind him in baseball. The worst bullpen behind him in baseball. It's just sad. Over 8.5 is where I would be leaning on this one as well. Another spot where I wish we were getting better value than this, but 2-1 to be backing Eduardo Rodriguez. And then, do I feel like backing Ken Waldichuk ever? No. No, I do not. Efficient numbers. We simply pass. We move along. I'm a little bit sad. Okay, because this would have been the stand that I would have taken immediately here. Phillies, Rays. The Rays have been the best offense in baseball against right-handed pitching, against left-handed pitching, against any pitching. If a person pitched a baseball, the Rays hit it very far and long, and now they got Brandon Lau and hopefully a healthy Brandon Lau back, because I do like him as a person and a baseball player. But do you know one of the sneakily best pitchers in baseball, according to my model, over the course of the last month? Taijuan Walker, of all people. This is a wild phenomenon that we're seeing with Taijuan Walker, and it might be consistent. I need to make a take a deeper look into this one. This could very well end up in the lock department with some nice plus money behind it if we get that on the Philadelphia money line. But we don't have an official Tampa Bay starter because it's that Yanni Chirinos type spot where he pitched on the 29th. I think he's the next in line. 3.64 ERA, 1.20 whip, but I'm not positive, and the books aren't either. That's why we don't have a line here. So we're going to wait here for a second, but I want to go through some Taijuan Walker numbers that I broke down because I was very fascinated. Was not a name that I expected to see at the top of the sheet when I woke up this morning. He still has a 4.19 expected ERA. He still has just south of a 4 actual ERA. Still giving up hard hits at around 40%. An 8.9% walk rate would be tied for the highest of his career right now, and he's had a pretty long career in baseball. So why is he all of a sudden showing up at the top of my model? Simple as this. He is finding phenomenal ways at avoiding run creation. And it really comes down to a ground ball rate that is exceeding his 5-ball rate, in addition to a lot of efficiency. Over the course of his last 3 starts, he has just 2 walks. He has had just obviously 3 consecutive quality starts because when you're limiting the walks, limiting power, still sitting under 40% overall for the season in that department, you're going to have solid performances. But it goes even further. 5 consecutive starts. Goes back to Detroit, the Dodgers, Oakland, which is a great spot, the Mets and Chicago, both kind of floundering teams over the course of the season. Taijuan Walker has allowed 3 total earned runs in his last 5 against those teams. 3 total. He's also found ways to limit the damage when he's left runners on base, which, again, he's not getting a lot of free passes. He's not handing them out here at the moment. I find it insane how well Taijuan Walker is pitching. I don't know if it continues because I don't think I've been backing him since like his Arizona days, which is like a lot of days ago. I didn't really love him on the Mets. I don't know how you really could. It was tough to watch. But he does have that cutter, friends, and that cutter has a lot of vertical movement. It does. And then the four-seamer, he's just eliminated it, added the split finger, even increased its usage even more. And now that he's thrown the split finger as the primary pitch, he's just a better pitcher. If he's locating it, I think we're going to end up locking this one. So this was a long explanation for a lean, but I expect to be getting north of plus 110 here. And as long as that's the case, I will be backing the Phillies against a right-handed pitcher, Ronnie Chirinos, because of the way their lineup profiles and mainly because Taijuan Walker. This is going to be the prove-it spot. Best offense in baseball meets pitcher who, those who believe in hot streaks, not necessarily my favorite thing, but again, there's no denying there are definitely variables that are going his direction of late. One more game going on in that 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:40 p.m. corridor of games, 3:40 p.m. Pacific Time, obviously. Steven Matz going on the mound here for St. Louis, going up against Brian Hoeing. Another spot where there's no line out here yet. It makes sense. Teams might rest some guys coming off of the fourth. You never really know exactly what you're going to get in this capacity. They hate us. They don't want me to do a good job. They want Jacob to look like a failure, like he wasn't doing his job, see? Salute to you too, my friend. Cardinals, Miami. Again, this is already the pitching matchup that we have here. Steven Matz, not my favorite pitcher, not my favorite baseball team to be backing at any point. Almost like that run line play worked out pretty well, huh? Adam Wainwright. I'm so sorry. I like him. Just terrible at pitching now. Steven Matz, pretty bad himself. Nearly a 5 ERA, 1.59 whip, 0-7. 0-7 on the season. Record means absolutely nothing to me when it comes to a pitcher, but it's always just curious to look at. I'm a curious George, curious little monkey when it comes to certain things like that. But we need an official starter from them. We do know it's going to be Brian Hoeing. Miami did announce that already. 41% hard hit percentage, 18.4% K rate, 9.2% walk rate. None of that is awesome. None of that is cool when you're part of the team, according to the Lego movie. So, still, I think we just go run line Miami, lean with it, rock with it, because Steven Matz is way worse. We did make the aggressive play on Miami. They came to fruition where I said they're probably going to onslaught it. You want to look at that 1.5. I'm just leaning this direction because I have no idea where this line drops. I just got a feeling that Cardinals, in this current iteration, in this economy, yeah, they're going to be devalued. Nice one of the things I preach on some of these shows, not just Lindy's Leans Likes Locks or Lindy's Locks update, talking at Stochastic for the DFS channel, for everything else. It's always nice when we talk about being very, very aware of certain situations. In Baltimore, New York, the weather was crappy. I already had my 8.5 ticket in. It was great. But I didn't want people firing away at 9, and I get that it already got there no matter what. 8-4, you had the Yankees go out and win. That would have been the team that I leaned with there as well. And now we're looking at another situation where pitching is something that you want to attack, but there's 15 games on the slate. If this isn't your cup of tea, you're okay passing from time to time. And I thought the weather, when the line moved to 9, made it a little bit questionable. You didn't want to have something happen in the middle of the game. Still, it ends up panning out. Happy for all of us who had the 8.5 tickets from yesterday. And again, some cool parlays that we had in that premium Discord. So check out BetMGM. I'll talk about them here in a second. But the things that I preach about are just simply paying attention to starting pitching above all else when handicapping. And then just what do you see as primary outs and like what the range of outcomes can be, making sure that you're not betting something at a 9 where you're then pushing on 9 instead of a win, taking away that piece of the range of outcomes. Enough talking about that stuff. You want to hear me talk about plays and you just want the plays. Dean Kramer, Randy Vasquez in this one. Dean Kramer, you know by now, I don't like him. 45.6% hard hit percentage, 524 expected slugging, no strikeout stuff whatsoever, 11% barrel percentage in a small, tiny, inky-dinky little Yankees stadium. Makes it a tough one to go out of your way to back. As for Randy Vasquez, this is a pitcher that I didn't have a ton of familiarity with. Had to take a little bit more of a deep dive approach with him. Like kind of what I saw for the most part. Fastball sitting around 95, 96, a nice cutter that breaks off of it a little bit. 4.13 expected ERA doesn't look good. The 1.74 ERA through a couple of outings does. So I think that's more of a sample size issue. I think he's just serviceable enough. But still, I think we want to attack him. That's a pretty wide disparity you're talking about between the expected ERA and the ERA. And generally what happens when you bring a lineup in like Baltimore into a situation like this, you get hit up. You end up having a lot of problems. This team has lefties. They have a lot of them. They have really good ones. 103 WRC plus against righties over the course of this season. So north of 4 expected ERA in a small porch. Think we're also going to be taking a walk down old home run prop lane. It's a really long name for a street. Home run prop lane. Yeah, I would never name it that. I don't know where I'm getting at. I like the over, though. 9.5 here. Looks like it's going to be another stormy little afternoon there up in New York. Evening. It's 7 o'clock when this first pitches. Whatever. I'm done talking. Over 9.5. It projects out nicely for me. If it moves to 10, don't deal with it. Oh, look at that. I like these two teams right now. See, people were not very happy that Eric locked a total. In fact, the total from the first game of the day. And it wasn't because I had things to do. I'm literally here in my chair. I've been here all day watching baseball, helping people bet baseball in the premium Discord, chatting with the people. And Cincinnati and Washington, they just put me in such a good mood. Such a good mood. Absolute smash. Up to 12 runs there, way over whether you bet it at 9.5, 10, or 10.5. Did not matter what your name is, according to The Rock. You got the W there in bulk. It was beautiful stuff. But we have a play from this one, too, and it's a little bit surprising, but it projects out well to me. It should be surprising, I guess, considering it's Graham Ashcraft on one side of the mound going up against Josiah Gray. And hey, shout out Josiah Gray. Had a really cool interview. I don't know if you guys watched that Cincinnati-Washington game. I woke up early to do it because I'm a sick person, and I don't know. It's kind of what I do for a job, so might as well do it. Josiah Gray and the Washington Nationals. He ends up becoming their representative here in the NL for the All-Star game. Really cool interview from him talking about his time with the Dodgers and how it kind of crafted it into who he is. And then obviously he started his career in Cincinnati. So not a homecoming, but facing his former team. That's for sure. Really fun stuff. You don't need to go back and watch it. I don't know. It's cool stuff. And he's been good. He actually probably deserves that spot. I don't know who else would from Washington. 35.4% hard hit percentage, 395 expected slugging. The strikeouts have not been there, and that's generally what his calling card has been before. He throws a lot of off-speed stuff, throws the four-seamer a lot less. But still, a 3.30 ERA, it's shown up in the box score, even despite a 4.22 expected ERA, but it's the first time that he's been south of a 5 ERA at the All-Star break. So hey, congrats to him on having a much better year. Thank God you're not throwing the four-seamer at a 40% clip like last year, because it's not a very good pitch. It still gets some whiffs, but it'll get smacked around, that's for sure. Good stuff from Josiah Gray. Not good stuff from Graham Ashcraft. And this guy, his ground ball rate was kind of the thing that got him through some tough times before. Well, it's down to 48.2% after being at 54.6%. And when the ball is hit in the air and you're giving up hard contact, it's problematic. He was giving up soft contact on the ground at 36.3% hard hit percentage in 2022, had a 4.02 expected ERA as a corresponding number. Again, hard contact equals problems. Up to 43.4% hard hit percentage this season and a 5.62 expected ERA that is actually south of his 6.66. Yeah, he's got the devil's number for an ERA right now. Ooh. I don't care. I'm not superstitious like that. But Washington, they're projecting out as a good play at plus 1.5 for me on the run line inside of minus 150. I have that as a play. So all you parlay people, you know who you are. I know Cincinnati went and smacked around Washington today and it was whatever, but going into Wednesday, what happened on Tuesday doesn't mean it happens Wednesday. Plus, I like getting to this number, getting the 1.5 when you're talking about only a 50-cent difference. Look at this. 50 cent. Coming up was confused. My mom kissing a girl. Confusion occurs coming up in a cold world. That's 50 cent for all the people. We continue on to BetMGM. One day, this picture will be completely eradicated from the internet. I'm going to make sure of it. I'm going to have AI do it for me. But until then, hey, still a cool deal. And hey, I'm excitable like this. BetMGM, you can sign up right now. Make this picture worth it for me. And this is how you do it. You simply go to that video description box below. You sign up for 2 months. You're going to get 2 months of OS Premium Discord when you do sign up over at BetMGM. But that's not it, my friends. BetMGM is also on your first bet that you make when you deposit over there and play. Up to $1,000 will come back to you in bonus bets if your first wager loses. So just to explain that a little bit further, let's say you deposit $40. You play $40 on your first bet. Sounds great. If you win, keep your money, just like a normal bet. If you lose, you're going to get $40 back in bonus bets. You can fire it up again. So, it's a repeat special, my friends, over at BetMGM. You could do that for $100, $250, up to $1,000, whatever amount of money you're comfortable with, though. I do suggest taking advantage of all of these sportsbook offers because this is how you build and sustain your bankroll. If you do this seriously, if you're taking this serious, and I'm assuming, considering you're listening to my video, you're very interested in sports betting. You've been doing this probably for a while. You're looking for direction. Eric, how can I get better at this? Eric, what can I do to try to have some more money in my pocket at the end of the day? Number one is signing up at as many sportsbooks as possible and shopping for the best lines every single day. A close number two is taking advantage of these sportsbook offers so that you can build that bankroll and be set to go, have some extra ammunition in your pocket. And obviously, I'm not putting $1,000 on each play every single day. I do not have $1,000 on every play that I'm firing up here. That would be crazy for me. That's not how I manage my money. But I would definitely be taking advantage of this to the fullest extent I could. I would be firing this up for $1,000, taking advantage of it, getting that money back into my pocket. So it just depends on what you're looking for, what you're trying to do as a player. Nice to know that no matter what that money is, you're getting it back in bonus bets to be able to play next time around. So hopefully that helps you out. It's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But looking forward to seeing you guys at BetMGM. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. We got Hot Atlanta. Yeah, that's what they are. They're Hot Atlanta. Huh? See what I did there? You've heard that before. Everybody has it. Stupid. They're going to be facing the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians of the Galaxy, or at least Ohio border. Something like that. It's a really interesting spot here. Michael Soroka making another start here. Yeah, they've had some depleted starting rotations here of late in Atlanta. You have, who's on the shelf? Let me just think through it. You have Smith, they've ended up sending AJ Smith-Sharver, that's his name. They sent him back down. Jared Schuster got sent back down to AAA as well. You got Max Fried on the shelf. You got Kyle Wright on the shelf. See, there we go. Found them. Found the names. My brain is a weird place. Also, year-long baseball will do that to you. But Michael Soroka getting another turn through the rotation after a really good outing against Miami. 7 Ks, 6 innings pitched. Still gave up 2 homers. He's given up 5 home runs in 3 starts this season. Has a nearly 7 ERA, 1.53 whip. So why are we backing Atlanta on the run line, Eric, with those kind of numbers? It's a very small sample size deal. That's really what it comes down to. And when he went down to AAA, I don't know, he had a 1.42 ERA. He's pretty good. It's just that he's not as good as those other starters that I listed off. The 2 that are on the shelf, Max Fried, Kyle Wright. Anyway, Michael Soroka, don't know if this is going to be something sustainable, but it's obviously a very good spot. The Cleveland Guardians, they're sitting there with an 89 WRC plus against right-handed pitching over the course of the season. They're not good. They're just not good. I just updated it, 90 WRC plus after today's game. Just wanted to update it for the people there for a second. But either way, looking over at the Cleveland side, you're getting Cal Quantrill. I always attack this guy. 373 xWOBA, but 296 expected batting average. A 12.3% K rate. 12.3% K rate. Came back after a month on the shelf, went to Chicago, got schlacked around. That -1.5 got covered like instantly on the Cubs side. The money line got covered like instantly. We took the over of the game, even with Justin Steele on the mound, which we've got coming up later. Lock preview, good stuff. But very much looking forward to watching Atlanta light up Cal Quantrill. It's like 3 ninjas. Let's light these fat boys up. I'm going to UFC 290, can you tell? Not to fight. I'd get murdered in 4 seconds. But either way, I've said but either way like 14 times today. Atlanta, -1.5. That's all that I have for you. We continue. The Texas Rangers and the Boston Red Sox with a 9.5 total with 2 pitchers I really like on the mound. Wonder where this is going. For all of you who don't want to bet unders, there are apparently a lot of you based on a 1-day sample size from Monday. Just tune out. Don't put this on your card. I'm okay with that. but I'm going to because I like good bets, and this is a good bet. John Gray, Brian Bayo, that's your pitching matchup. John Gray, 35.4% hard hit percentage, just a 21.1% K rate. That's been his calling card in the past, and obviously it's a freaky spot facing Boston. Duran just continues to hit these dudes up. Alex Verdugo did not get on the All-Star team. He's feeling snubbed. He's crying. I don't even think he played well again today. I don't know. I don't think he was a snub. That's a little bit strange to me. People are up in arms about it on Twitter, and whatever happens on Twitter is obviously officially in the world. So, cool. I just think John Gray is still going to get the better of this matchup. Sub 1.1 whip, 3.21 ERA. Yes, it's a difficult ballpark with the lefties, but again, doesn't play up for lefty power. Very, very different. Righty power, better off in Fenway, which is so weird to me. Pesky pull. It's like 310 to the corner or some shit. I don't know. Could I sit on there with... I probably could get... If you give me 100 swings, could I get up there? Yeah, I could probably go... No, we're not going to get into that conversation. Let me know in the comment section below if you think you could hit a homer aiming at the pesky pole in Fenway from batting practice pitching. From batting practice pitching, I think I could do it. From an actual Major League Baseball pitcher, I don't think I would make contact. I really don't. I have good hand-eye coordination. Division I athlete. Just don't ask what sport. Either way, we're going to look over here. God, I did it again. Either way, God, stop it. Just having a battle with myself. Let's talk about Brian Bayo, shall we? That sounds good. 41.2% hard hit percentage, 395 expected slugging, sub 22% K rate. I've changed my mind, friends. I could not hit one out to pesky pull. I just changed my mind again. I don't want you in the comment section doing that. I want you betting the under of this game. That's what I want. Yeah, not in love with the Boston bullpen. Not in love with Texas. Kind of in love with them now. They added Aroldis Chapman, and like the good version of Aroldis Chapman, not the last 2 years in the Yankee uniform Aroldis Chapman. Under 9.5. Almost locked it, but didn't. It's been a while since I had this guy on the betting card, or anticipate having this guy on the betting card, but it's good to see a little bit of Evanescence. Wake me up inside, can't wake up. A little bit of that. Talking about Lord Byron, of course. We'll talk about him here in a second. But first, Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez, 4 kids. And I got to take all of that to showbiz. It's good stuff. I don't know why I can't say ass. I could probably say that if I wanted to. But either way, 19.3. No, that's the wrong number. No way. 4.24 ERA. There we are. 1.15 whip for here. Mr. Pablo Lopez went out, just smashed Baltimore in Baltimore. We backed him pretty heavily in the premium Discord and on this program. That was fun. I was also 5 days ago back in the great days that were June. But now July. Hey, July 4th. We just needed, 2 days? Sunday, Monday weren't great. Tuesday, we're back on track, baby. Making it and more. Thank you again, Cincinnati and Washington. But Pablo Lopez is really, really good. But this is absurd. We are not going to be backing Minnesota on the run line or on the money line at these kind of numbers. This is just say no. Now, on the other side of this one, you get Alec Marsh. Alec Marsh is not good. 11.25 ERA doesn't really tell you anything. He's only pitched 4 innings in the bigs for them so far this season, and it was against the Dodgers. So that's pretty difficult to analyze in any way, shape, or form. But as you look through anything else, you had his debut, 4.62 ERA and 1.52 whip at AA and AAA combined. Those aren't good numbers. They're very bad numbers. I want to see some more from Alec Marsh to be able to just officially call him a gas can, but I'm pretty sure he's a gas can. If you're giving up north of a 4.5 ERA at AAA, best of luck when you're facing an actual baseball team at the big league level. And the Minnesota Twins, Joey Gallo, lefty, he's been struggling, but still has the insane 59% hard hit percentage. Max Kepler, good to see him go yard. But my favorite, I'm actually going to be getting to a righty here in this spot, Lord Byron Buxton. Yes, there is no way that watching Byron Buxton at the plate here the last couple days, yeah, I've been watching a lot of it because, it's kind of my team. He looks so much better up there. Nice to see. What I really love to see is when he gets in these phases where he's going longer into counts, taking pitches, and not getting worried that he has to go chase after some ridiculous 1-2, 2-2 pitch. It's a big deal. He's only struck out twice in his last 5 games. I can't tell you how important that is when you start seeing Byron Buxton lock in. Yeah, we're going to bet him to absolutely go yard. He's going to hit it so far on this dude. He's got a 30% K rate on the season, but still a 43.5% hard hit percentage. So do it for me. Make me look cool. It says Byron Brexton. Hans Bricks. Shout out producer Jacob for that bit in the corner. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch it. That's fun stuff. Also was able to quote Team America. It only makes sense. Happy 4th of July. Hopefully you're safe. If you're not, well, probably not going to be watching this program. This would be a weird thing to watch in a bind. I don't know where to go with that. Maybe just talk baseball instead, Eric. Chicago Cubs, Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome to your lock, my friends. It's Justin Steele on the mound going up against Adrian Houser. One of these things is not like the other one. Now, I want to throw this out there because you need to be very, very careful. I want to see the final report of the Chicago Cubs bullpen because they have been so atrocious, just surface watching the last couple games, that there aren't really even words for it. Now, they blew another big lead in another 9th inning. Now, they ended up winning the game 7-6, but I have a lot more to unpack when it comes to some of these relievers. I want to see exactly who's available because this could very easily, for me, this is the first time I can ever remember not having a lock in play before I just started talking about the lock. But I want to bet this either first 5 or we're talking minus 148 here on the Chicago Cubs side here. It is a very important distinction. Not all the books had first 5 numbers out yet, so I gotta be able to shop for them. Hey, maybe that's a great reason to sign up over at Odd Shopper here, but as soon as I am off this program, I'm going to be double checking every single book, and I am going to be firing this one hard. By far my favorite play, and here's why. Justin Steele is so damn good. He is the man of steel. 30.7% hard hit percentage, 273 xWOBA, 332 expected slugging. Maybe James Gunn should have cast him, huh? That's a joke for all my nerds. Adrian Houser on the other side of this one, 42.1% hard hit percentage, 275 expected batting average, and a sub 15% K rate. I get it's the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki has not even been existing, even with a 51% hard hit percentage this season. Patrick Wisdom, not even in these lineups. Christopher Morel has been awesome. Nice to see him starting to bat at the top of this one. But Jared Young now in the mix there. Dansby Swanson, 487 expected slugging. This lineup should be better than it has performed this season. And run creation really hasn't been a problem for them in a lot of facets. The Cubs, 96 WRC plus against right-handed pitching. It's not exceptional, 144 ISO, but you're getting into Milwaukee here. Good ballpark for them. I was expecting this number to say minus 175. It says minus 148. So this is a phenomenal play, but first 5 is going to be something I shop for next. If you want to know exactly what I finish up with here, I'm going to talk through it on Lindy's Locks Update. Great reason to go follow me on Twitter at Eric Lindquist. I've been talking through the process of how I go about my research, how I land on these plays. It's a lot of hours, everything put together in a 15-20 minute video where I try to make it concise, try to help you come to your own conclusions, help you to be a better, even without me. So there you go. But Chicago money line, this is an absolute smash. Probably my favorite play that I've seen in a while. Minus 175, minus 180 would have been the ballpark I expected this to open in. I'm getting it south of minus 150, and there's a potential for the public to steam this one up the same way they steamed down that Washington-Cincinnati line for us, which is just, I'm beside myself that even happened. That was probably a better play at 9.5 than what this is. But either way, God, I did it again. Minus 148, my friends. Chicago Cubbies. Yay, Chicago. What do you say? Cubs are gone away today. We go from one Chicago team to the south side of Chicago. Toronto Blue Jays, Chicago White Sox. Jose Barrios, our old friend. It's been a weird year, I gotta say. Haven't been targeting him, at all. At all. And the numbers aren't exactly exceptional. 452 expected slugging, 337 xWOBA. I think the big thing that's changed is the books are no longer pricing him like an elite pitcher. They're just not. Because he's not an elite pitcher. Who was right about that? Nah. Feels good. But it sucks for us because I really loved this when this number was like minus 140 and we were able to get the White Sox in a spot like this, like plus 120. But I think this is pretty efficient. Lance Lynn, he's kind of another box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get from him either at this point in time. Got the strikeout stuff, but a 6.47 ERA, 1.50 whip. A 26.9% K rate isn't going to fix all of that. Primarily four-seamers, going to have a lot of issues with some of these Toronto Blue Jays bats. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Matt Chapman, lots of pieces. But we're still going to be leaning that direction. You got to be leaning this direction. White Sox, I think just against Jose Barrios, I said, you're not getting the prize for it, but this whole game looks unappealing. I think if I do anything, probably looking at batter props from each side of it, maybe a K prop from Lance Lynn, but it's a really tough spot to want to invest. Los Angeles Angels, San Diego Padres, and shout out Mike Trout, poor guy. I mean, are the Angels going to maybe look at moving Ohtani at the deadline so they don't just give him up for nothing? I think it's on the board now. Mike Trout, broken something on his hand. I'm just awaiting to hear if he has surgery or not, because already he's on the 10-day IL, but they announced that he wasn't going to get, sent to, 60-day IL is in play if he has surgery, period, end of story. But 10-day IL sounds like beginning of August is the timetable that they have for him. I'm just saying. I never in a million years thought Shohei Ohtani, last year when they were having those discussions, never thought it was remotely on the table that they would move him. It's on the table now. For the first time ever, I will admit, Shohei Ohtani, there's a chance he's wearing powder Dodger blue at the end of the year. Conspiracy theorist. It's got to be a team with a lot of prospects. It's got to be a team that can just shove Sheehan and Miller and a couple of these guys, send them down the 5 freeway and let them go kick it in Anaheim. They will be pissed about that. Mike Trout will be pissed about that. Baseball will be up in arms. But we should probably start breaking down this game. Just wanted to throw it out there because, I don't know, Mike Trout, kind of an important baseball player to talk about. Shohei Ohtani, kind of an important baseball player to talk about. And it's already reflected, I think, in what we have for these odds. We're talking about San Diego minus 170, despite I think Patrick Sandoval is the better of the two pitchers. Patrick Sandoval going up against Seth Lugo. Sandoval, World Baseball Classic, awesome. A little bit worse so far to get out of the gates. K rate's down sub 18%, 271 expected batting average, 34% hard hit percentage. Kind of problematic here so far for Southpaw, and obviously San Diego doesn't strike out a lot anyway. So yeah, power bats up and down. Fernando Tatis, look at the home run. I don't know, I'm doing a bit with that. Seth Lugo, 269 expected batting average though, pretty comparable to Patrick Sandoval. 451 expected slugging, but the exponentially better K rate so far, 22%, nearly 4% better. And then the walk rate sitting at 5%. It's also the way better matchup. So all in all, things are grading out about identically for me. If I had to fire up anything here, I think this is an offensive spot. You get an earlier than normal start time there in San Diego. It sounds like 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. So you're getting 2.5 hours of daylight out there. A little bit warmer down there, not getting that 6:40 start time. An hour earlier can definitely matter a little bit. Now, does it matter enough to move it a half run? Probably not, but it's never not okay to have the conditions in your favor. It's just that I already think everything's pretty properly accounted for. So over 8.5, it's a lean. At 8, I would be firing it. 3 games to go, my friends. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. I'm here grinding on the 4th of July. You guys are out having your barbecues, having your beers, having your boat parties, sitting poolside next to some ladies. Where are my ladies at? Can I have the ladies in the comment section below? Hey, can we hype up Eric? No. All 3 of you, stop it. I like you, though. I appreciate you. I love you. Don't hurt me. I don't have anything to talk about in this game, so this is nonsensical. I know Alex Cobb's going to be the starter for the San Francisco Giants, so maybe we just start there. Yeah, we'll probably start there. There are a couple of disgusting options that Seattle could be starting out here, but Alex Cobb, 3.12 ERA, 1.36 whip, came right back out of the gates, looked good against the Mets, hadn't pitched in 17 days. Overall, just, I don't know. He's not going to pitch all that deep into this game. Has gone, 79 pitches his last 2 starts, just 79 that first one. A little bit of handcuff there, 85 pitches or so, but then a bullpen spot in a pitcher's park. Never a bad situation. Did that game end up going under today? I have to double check. I have to know just because of how upset I am. 6-0. Of course it did. I didn't have a play on it. I'm just saying. Anybody else watch that ninth inning the other night? I'm over it. Hey, we smashed today. Groovy smashing. Yay, capitalism. Austin Powers always makes me feel better. You know what doesn't make Seattle feel better? Their pitching options going into this game. Darren McCaughan, I think, is who ends up on the bump, and he's horrible. You have Bryce Miller, who's on the shelf here right now with a finger issue. It's opening up a roster spot here in this starting rotation, and I think McCaughan, who got recalled from AAA Tacoma, might be the guy. I hope not for their sake, though. A 6.75 ERA in 2 appearances with Seattle this season. 6.56 ERA at Tacoma. Now, again, Tacoma, I think it's still a little bit of elevation, but PCL, it's always hard to know exactly what you're going to be running into because he has to pitch at places like Reno, like Albuquerque. I talk about it all the time. San Francisco, a lot better pitching situation than he's probably had all year, but doesn't feel encouraging to see this 2 starts in the best pitcher park in baseball where he ends up giving up a lot of hard contact. Gave up only the 3 earned runs over the course of the 4 innings, and well, how far can he work into it considering he got sent back? Did have 67 pitches on May 30th. That was a while ago. He got lengthened out a little bit, but Darren McCaughan, if it's going to be that guy, my God. San Francisco money line or run line or something line. San Francisco money line. I don't have a lot here. It would take a lot for this line to make sense. I had a -175 might be in play. Again, run creation much more difficult in these kind of parks in San Francisco and T-Mobile in Seattle. Talk about it all the time. Makes me want to bet the dog, but definitely not going to do it if it's Darren McCaughan. Look at the Mets trying to be all sneaky and stuff. Look at this. Max Scherzer ends up getting the ball out of absolutely nowhere on Tuesday. Kadai Senga gets moved to Wednesday, so didn't get to tell you about the guy. Again, it happened like 2 hours before first pitch, too. What are we doing here? Can they even do that? I just hit my mic. Sorry. Anyway, it's Kadai Senga going up against the Arizona Diamondbacks here again. And I will say, Corbin Carroll did officially end up back in that lineup. What does he do his first at bat against Max Scherzer? Of course, he hits an absolute bomb. This kid is unfrickin' believable. But what does that do? Why am I taking the Ks from Kadai Senga and changing it from 8 to 7? I will explain very, very quickly for you. Corbin Carroll is good. Did I do a good job? 19.8% K rate is pretty low. Some of the other guys who would have been in his stead, Alek Thomas, 22.2%. Nominal difference. You would have gotten maybe Perdomo, dude, maybe showing up in that lineup, having to be something in there. Dominic Fletcher. Got the other Fletcher brother now on the Arizona Diamondbacks called up from AAA. He plays right field, 22.7% as well. So you're getting a guy in Corbin Carroll with a lower strikeout rate and way better stuff that could impact your pitcher. Yeah, that's going to change my K projection for him for sure. So we saw 5.5 as the line that opened. I'm expecting the identical numbers that we got from today. So I almost just said, hey, like it, move on. But I'm just going to say, Kadai Senga ladder up to 7. I still like it as a play. The Ghost Fork is unhittable. It's an unhittable pitch. The same things apply. When he's walking dudes, you're going to be in trouble. When he's not, he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. Flat out. Period. End of story. 3.53 ERA, 1.35 whip, but of course the big thing, 28.5% K rate. And Tommy Henry, Tommy Henry, don't want to talk about him. 17% K rate, 30.5% hard hit percentage. Just tilted my face off last time out. Actually had a good start. I shouldn't besmirch him too much. Against the Angels, that was actually a proper start. 8 strikeouts, 5 2/3. Got the win. Good for him. Bet against him. It sucked. Anyway, Kadai Senga, we're back on the train. It's been a hot second. Haven't thrown one of these into the mix for the people, but the people, I want to give you what you want. You want parlays. What do you know about parlay? Bootstraps. Pirates of the Caribbean, best Disney movie ever. Don't at me, people. We have the Pittsburgh Pirates going up against the Los Angeles Dodgers yet again. Feel like they've been in LA for like a year. But Osvaldo Bido, the expected starter here for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You got Mr. Bobby Miller, the guy that I talked about could be somebody sent down the 5. And they have some young arms that definitely stand out. Bobby Miller's one of them. Hasn't stood out as much as Michael Grove at the AAA level, and Michael Grove's terrible. I do not like him, so take that back. But Bobby Miller, 295 xWOBA, 341 expected slugging, 37.3% hard hit percentage. really good stuff so far in his young career. I mean, between him, Sheehan, they're going to be okay even without Clayton Kershaw here. All you need is Clayton Kershaw healthy for the postseason. It's the only thing that ever really matters for this team. You don't have a healthy Clayton Kershaw, you got no shot. So maybe do that. Good talk. Glad we had it. Top 30 pick, Bobby Miller. Really like the stuff. And, well, still think he's going to be giving up some hard contact. Still think he's going to be running into some bats. And I think Pittsburgh, they can do just enough against right-handed pitching where I don't completely write them off. We're talking a 150 ISO. It's a little bit better than you would expect considering the 89 WRC+. And you do have Brian Reynolds, who's just a major league ball player. Jack Sawinski, I always like when he's in the lineup considering he smashes the face of baseballs. A lot of good stuff that we're looking at here. But I want to be combining the over with a play on the Dodgers because I just don't think Osvaldo Bido is ready to rock here. A 361 expected slugging, 318 xWOBA, 40.3% hard hit percentage. All of that could look well and good, but the ground ball rate is virtually non-existent. And overall, it hasn't resulted in much for him in his 4 starts this season. 1.47 whip, 4.74 ERA. Dodgers, run line, over. Goodbye. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays on the board for this lovely slate we have before us on Wednesday. Hopefully you guys had a great day on Tuesday. It was fantastic stuff across the board. If you enjoyed it, if you want to get my betting card every single day, check out BetMGM. Really great stuff that we have going. That 2 free months of Odd Shopper Discord access, as well as getting yourself up to $1,000 in bonus bets back on your first wager if it doesn't win. Only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That does it for me, friends. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Wednesday.